Good afternoon, everyone. I, Ashutosh Kumar Dubey, welcome you all at 23rd World Education Summit 2022. So, today, second panel we are going to start, and panel topic is future. Sorry. So, panel topic is National Education Policy 2020 Opportunity Approach and Implementation. So today we have very good and experienced panelists here. So first of all, I introduce Mr. Kuldeep Srolia, founder, Sorfort International School. Welcome to the session, sir. Then we have Poonam Arora, ma'am, principal, Bombay Cambridge International School, Mumbai, Maharashtra. Welcome to the summit, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
We
It's a
have,
pleasure joining you.
thank you, ma'am. We have Dr. Preeti Srimal, principal, Billabong High International School, Vadodara. Welcome,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you, ma'am. And again, we have Muhammad Ajhar, founder, principal, Knowledge Academy School, Chennai. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you. Good
And
afternoon.
then we have Mr. Sandeepan Reddy, founder, chairman, Synergy National School, Ambajogai. Welcome to the
Yes,
summit, sir.
thank you everyone. Thank you, Ashutosh.
So now I would like to invite Kuldeep Srolia, founder, Sorfort International School, to moderate this wonderful session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ashutosh, sir. Welcome again. We are here to discuss NEP. Audience are listening to us. Welcome, Poonam ji, Preeti ma'am, Sandeepan sir, Ajhar sir once again from my side also. National education policy has started getting implemented. I'm honored and privileged to moderate this panel. Some of the academicians, some of you are from different parts of India, right from Chennai to south to north part of India. I'm starting the session in a chronological order, right from Poonam ma'am with her views. We'll go one by one, and then probably in between, if you want to pitch in and share your thoughts and questions, we'll do that thing. Poonam ma'am, what's your thought on NEP getting implemented in India? Its success, its uniqueness. What is happening? Are we going to make out something out of it, or it's another CCE like model?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. NEP, as we have all been reading about it now, the past year, and having great discussions about it, I will not get into actually what is NEP. We all are aware of that the age group 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, that is the how the NEP has created the educational journey of the children. The At this point, the implementation, if we talk about before, a little bit of understanding that when a change comes, this change has come after 30 years in education. So any change that comes actually requires lot of thought on the part of all educators, apart from whatever research work was done, and then this was formulated. And now the schools are experimenting with small little parts of it. One part of it is that the first stage of learning, which is 3 to 8 years of age. So the slot has been made as 3 to 8 years, where up till grade 2, from kindergarten to grade 2, that's one slot. I feel the beauty of this, the NEP that is getting implemented is, first thing is somebody is paying attention to the kindergarten or the early years learning, because up till now, especially in India, it was, Anganwadis were there, where some kind of work was happening, definitely, but there were no guidelines stated for what has to be done for these children who are starting school. And we also are aware that so many small schools, preschools or kindergarten schools were mushrooming, and I don't know how much justice they were able to do to the skills that are needed to move forward, to be prepared for the next stage of life. So that is one major aspect which is getting covered here. That even the age 3 to 8 years, as they say, our research also says that the most productive learning years of life are 3 to 10 years of age. And if we are not able to focus on the kind of skills we need to give our children, then if the base is strong, definitely the building is not going to be very um, you know uh, lasting, or whatever is required of it, it will not be able to do that. So that is one part that is getting covered beautifully. Then the focus of the NEP is about skill building. We have been talking about it for over past decade or so. Some of our schools who are into, Cambridge or IB schools, they are actually practicing it at this point also. But we need to see what is the work being done at the ground root level with the education of everybody. At this point, about 26% of the Indian population is under that age where they are going to go through schooling. And if we have a broad outline and some thought has gone into skill building, and it's already getting implemented in schools. So, where we are not just teaching them what is English, math, and science, but we are teaching them critical thinking, collaboration, teamwork. We are preparing them for life. And there the social emotional learning curriculum is also there, which becomes a very important aspect. That is the next stage we are talking about. That is a 6th, 7th, 8th class. After that we come to that, then the children are equipped with skills, and then they are into developing those skills further. Not that everybody, like a herd mentality, is picking up everything, and as they say, master of none. So this particular aspect where the skill building is focused on, and we are looking at training our children, or rather using the word facilitating our children to learn what interests them and what is going to be useful for them later on in meeting the challenges of life. And after that, another very important aspect of the new policy is about, if I'm not able to write an exam for any reason, then I become a dropout. So between 9 to 12 years of age, I have that opportunity, or I have that facility where if I'm not able to, I'm not prepared, I'm not well for any particular reason, then I can go back and continue from where I left. This was never there in our Indian education system. It was always there. We have been reading about it in other universities, but never in an Indian scenario. So, because of any reason, if I'm not able to continue my education, it doesn't mean that when I get back to it after 5 years, I have to start from scratch. So, I can start from where I left, and then I can move on from there, which I think is a very, very beautiful aspect of promoting education, allowing people to uh, get education as per their needs also. And sometimes limitations are there. I'm not able to do something now, I can pick up my threads later on in life. So I think that is the holistic way. If we look at the education, the new education policy, that it is a very, very student centric kind of a policy, where teacher is a facilitator and the child is at the center of it. I know many of our schools, I'm talking about Bombay, Cambridge, but other schools are also practicing this for many years now, where child centered education is there. But now when it has come as a policy, it will become like a complete, everybody is experiencing that. We might belong to affluent schools, but we also have to take care of schools who are in the rural areas where children do not have facilities. What are we doing there? So that if we look at this 26% of our population 10 to 15 years from now, they will be able to contribute towards the development of the nation. So, keeping that in mind, I think I've answered your question. I don't know whether there is a time limit to what I'm saying,
No,
because I
it's
don't want to eat into others' time at all. And you know how educators are, once they start speaking, very difficult to
yeah.
stop them.
No, Poonamji, I'm keeping a tap on the type. You spoke very wonderful points right here, bullet points I was noting down. Something about, NEP reaching the last rural level villages. How will we do it? Because in cities like Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, metro is okay, but NEP will be very very tough. And if, with your permission, if I can say, next to impossible to implement in villages. Please counter
Uh,
that point, please, ma'am.
yeah, I think we'll have to take it as not as a policy by the government for the schools. We will have to take it, we'll have to take ownership for it. That's going to be very important. And like I said, schools like in the metropolis, or the schools where all facilities are available, where the heads are also into a lot of reading and research, I think we will have to somewhere take it as a, not just as a challenge, but as a responsibility as an educator. I was having a conversation with one of the educators the other day. I was thinking, I was telling that I think we should look at these kind of schools adopting other schools from the rural areas, where we will be sharing our resources with them. We will be giving, we'll have to give time to it. It will not just be resources, but definitely resources which we can share, and our know-how, whatever we are already implementing, how it works. And it has to be like a complete thing, where we are looking at everyone has to move forward, and those who are a little ahead of the others because of the maybe the placement, the cities that we are in, or the kind of resources available, we have to take this responsibility. And maybe every school is allocated, say 5 schools, where we are taking them with us, and on this path, and getting them to also be able to implement the NEP in spirit. It's very easy to do it in words, that okay, we are doing activity based learning. But if my teachers don't know what's activity based learning, what is playway method of teaching, then how am I going to train my teachers to do that? So I feel it will, the responsibility will lie with the schools who are into a lot of training. They have resources, they are affluent, they have the know-how to, it should be like a knowledge sharing platform. And now that we are into online school, online platforms in education have become very very popular. I think that is the flip side of COVID that has come up, that even so somewhere, if kids don't have access to the technology in rural areas, at least their the facilitators there can be trained by these schools, so that they can in spirit implement the NEP. Apart from whatever government is doing, see, we always point fingers at others, that government needs to do this, education minister needs to do this. But we have been, somebody like me has been in education for last 25 years. What is my responsibility as an educator at this point? I feel very strongly about it, that I would want to contribute, so that at the fag end of my career now, I should spend time in getting this NEP implemented in spirit rather than just in words. So that's what I am thinking, that how
That
implementation will
was
work.
that was very nice point, that about hub and spoke, master and child, or adopting this school. That's a really nice suggestion and a great input. Thank you, Poonam ma'am. I'll come back to you if the time permits, and you please
Sure,
pitch in if you have a point while others are speaking in.
sure.
Sandipan sir, I'm moving next to you with your kind permission. I'm moving camera chronological order. So you might be thinking which chronology I'm following. So it is camera chronological, which the way I'm able to see all of you. I'm next seeing is Sandipan sir. On NEP, ma'am has given a lot of points. Apart from your points, I would love to listen from you, along with all other audience, on the teacher training programs in NEP. How we are going to train and implement, and what are the changes which is coming up. Please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Kuldeep sir, for giving this opportunity. And yes, I very well agree with Poonam ma'am. The best part what she spoke about adoption of schools from rural and metros. See, most of our schools, in fact, we operate only in rural part. So we like Ambejoga is a small town. It's a taluka place in the district of B district Maharashtra, and where we have three schools there with around 21 preschools in and around them. The entire focus was how we can give a better platform to that. And yes, NEP is going to be a blessing in disguise for us. Now, what is the differentiate if we speak about urban areas and if you speak about rural areas, we all talk about getting resources, getting quality resources. अच्छे टीचर्स नहीं मिलते, मिले तो भी ज्यादा दिन टिकते नहीं है. This is all the communication we all have.
Yes.
But now, if you see, there are a lot of now, everyone is now using technology, and yes, technology is being a disruption in education. Plus NEP, plus what Poonam ma'am said, okay, adoption of good schools being combining with all other good schools. Now, about teacher resources, my last 10 years of experience in rural part has been that if you train them, if you get teachers, you will get everywhere. But now it is a responsibility of the school to train them. हम लोगों को अच्छे क्वालिटी टीचर्स रूरल में कभी मिले ही नहीं और ना मिलेंगे. But fortunate enough to have a very good team with us because for the last 5 years we have trained them, trained them, trained them. That is the only thing. If at all we want to implement the NEP in prospective, like what is therein, and it is going to be the first set is the fixed mindset. Teachers will always operate from the fixed mindset, where NEP will always talk about growth mindset. तो अगर ग्रोथ माइंडसेट में हम लोगों को काम करना है टीचर्स पे, बिकॉज our resources are strong. If our resources are strong, then implementing will be easy for every one of us. The first part is teacher training resources, and now we can get it at whatever cost, because for the last 2 years nobody had to travel to rural. Earlier it was a very big task for all us to arrange for logistics for teacher trainers to go to Ambejogai. But now with the technology, it's very easy and it can be done. And this is what in the last 2 years we could really retain every one of us, all the teachers, and we could implement. Now, implementing of NEP will take some time because changing the mindset of teachers is very tough. They come from the old school of thoughts, whereas NEP talks about the new school of thoughts, and that is where the leaders of today need to look another 3 years down the line. We have to give them time. We have to give them opportunity. We have to give them exposure, and only then we will be able to really implement the NEP in next 3 to 4 years. And plus, the last point I would really want to put, we need to speak about success stories of NEP. The one of the best pillars of our education system, parent. We need to tell them stories about how NEP is changing the landscape of education. If we tell stories कि ये हुआ है, this is what we can do, this is what the collaborative skill or the creative skills of the students, and rather than now focusing on the career path, rather than and then focus on the strength of a students, that is where we need to differentiate and educate the parents as well. नहीं तो आज भी आप, if you see in metros also, but if it's in rural schools, the main focus is on medicine and engineering. They'll only go for that. 10% will go for, but what about 90% of students? Now, commerce and arts, they see that that is nothing in life that you do. But if you see nowadays, commerce and arts are the only streams which can really give you value addition in life. So my entire statement today would be teacher resources. We need to work on their growth mindset, and that is where our leadership should start working in small steps. We cannot, like Poonam madam said, change cannot be instant. Change will be gradual with storytelling. Thank you, sir.
Can't we, as school owners, can't we develop these resources for us and other institutions? Is there any model as per NEP, or can't we provide specifically in rural areas? You are absolutely correct. I can feel the amount of challenges which you will be going through to get good teachers. But can't we build up a model where we train, recruit, retain these people in any model? Would you like to suggest from your experiences what we can do?
See, because being see, for us leaders, we need to be good networkers, and from networking we get good resources which we feel that our core values with the trainer matches. Now, most of the trainers which come to our rural schools are from Mumbai, and it depends on the what is that I need to train. See, pedagogy, yes, pedagogy can be trained onto other part, but what are the other skills that we need to? So I've been using most of the CBSE training modules where we ensure that teachers has to attend all these training models, like we say for this as measurement metrics. So the teachers have to keep on learning. Like if you see the medical fraternity, they have to do CMEs. They have to have attend whatever if they want to renew their certificates. They have to attend at least 5 CMEs and do some rural part. Only then their certificates are renewed. But there's nothing like this in our. So what we have done in our school is earlier it was every training has to be mandatory. But now since it is online, we tell teachers these are the trainings. In your free time, you attend this and give a note on that. Ki, I've attended so and so, and for that there's a matrix where the marks are given for the teachers. And this is where we have improved. I don't know if we can customize it or if we can do that, but we saw that it was working, and we kept on working for last 4 years. And this year, it has really given us amazingly results.
Yes, I lost the last line, Sandeepan sir, but yes, that's a great idea which you are, last 4 years you had been implementing, and what I understand is this is great. Thank you. This was something unique which you shared with us. With your permission, I would love to move to Preeti ma'am. Preeti ma'am, you are from Vadodara. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Gujarat.
Gujarat, yes.
Yes.
So before you share your thoughts on NEP and implementation, how about state NEP versus national NEP? Is it in sync at least in Gujarat, or still, uh, there are differences like we have in Tamil Nadu, for example?
Yeah, so thank you very much. Yes, NEP is a topic which we are literally, living, breathing, and trying to find a kind of a solution with, because this is yet, like everybody would agree, some of it was already being implemented in our schools, and some is yet to be implemented in its spirit, and also in policy. So the Gujarat NEP or the Gujarat policy is definitely a little different, because if I can take one point is the language policy. So their emphasis is more on the language of the state, which is Gujarati, which of course till now we were of course teaching it as a third language, keeping in mind mine is an ICSE school. So keeping in mind the requirement of ICSE, that it needs any foreign language or a third language needs to be taught for 3 years, 3 to 4 years. So yes, with regards to the language policy, and also with regards to the kind of the examination structures which are there, there's a lot of difference in the state policy versus the NEP. I wouldn't be the right person to actually have a kind of a very in-depth analysis on that, because we are yet to get understand where exactly we have to sink ourselves, because we are following the Gujarat state policy from this year onwards, where we will be implementing Gujarati as a language from grade 1, in addition to the second language, which is Hindi, and also English. So definitely a big, we see that as maybe the first phase of implementation. So somewhere down the line, yes, I think I have not actually met, or we are not in sync, but we are probably matching steps to address the NEP. So language being, and also the NEP says that languages need to be taught, not just your mother tongue, but also the language of the state, and also a foreign language. So I take that a little bit. We will have to train our teachers. We will have to probably curate the curriculum. So that's one aspect of the NEP. And if you would want me to actually talk about the highlights, is the holistic approach, which of course caters to the complete development of the child's personality, keeping the child center, at the center stage of it. And the kind of emphasis which NEP has given in terms of the foundational skills, the literacy skills of a child, that by the age, or by the time a child reaches 8 years of age, when we call which Pura ma'am was also specifying upon that these are very, very important years when your foundational and literacy skills are built upon. And that's the time when, if we lay the stage, if we lay the foundation, if we lay the ground for a child, then he or she is ready to take up the middle school, the early primary, and the middle school challenges. So, in terms of the other unique aspect which I feel is the integration of different subjects. When we talk of emphasis on arts, which most of the schools, our kind of schools, are already having a different program which offers arts, which offers sports, which offers a creative exposure to the children. So that again is a very, very important factor. But now I think with the NEP, the whole thing will get structured. So earlier on, it was probably being done in a, in a kind of in a non-standardized manner, but now with more policies, with more rules, with more implementation and enabling data coming to us, we would be able to roll out the integration, the multidisciplinary approach in a more and more impactful manner, making it more engaging. And another thing which the NEP has actually emphasized on, which I think, if I may say, was not happening in the at the state board level, was happening at the level of our the boards that we are following, which is the ICSC, was the competency based approach. So till now it was covering the curriculum, it was just teaching the curriculum per se, to us moving on to a more skill based approach, to a more competency based approach, teaching the child rather than teaching the curriculum, as they say. So definitely, all of us are very excited about the NEP. We are waiting for even the kind of an approach which they have given us. So whether it is for history or for geography or for the opportunity of doing internships. Internships was something which was generally kept within the purview of maybe the 10th and the 11th and the 12th. But when we say that the internships and exposure to the different sciences, to the different subjects, has to start in very early, because right now career decisions cannot just be made at 9 and 10. They have to start well in advance. We have to build upon the skills of a child. We need to identify, as all of us as educators focus upon the one very important aspect of the learning experience. Identify the skill, the talent, and the potential, and then of course give them the adequate the environment, the learning space to nurture that. So I think with the NEP, we will have more and more children, like Sir rightly said, focusing not just on the the conservative arts and the sciences, but picking up a whole lot of other plethora of subjects. So the approach, I feel, is more flexible. It is giving more and more advantages to the students. It is giving more options to the students. So hopefully with the NEP, if I can say, we will have less of brain drain happening, because when we open up the liberal arts, the complete liberal arts exposure, the liberal arts institutes to the students, the landscape of picking up any subject or clubbing any subject of your choice. Yes, there will be a problem at the implementation level, but I'm sure given a period of time with proper teacher training happening, we will be able to adapt to that also. So lot of benefits. Yes, sir.
Have you used Nishita in your school?
Yes, we
Nishita?
have. Yes, we have used Nishita. I have enrolled a lot of my teachers for the Nishita initiative, and they've come back with very good reviews, sir. Very good reviews, and they've said
Share,
that it has
share.
focused. Yes.
Please
So
share. Yeah.
according to them, they have said that this Nishita, few of my teachers went for the primary level. A few of them went for the high school level, and when they came back, they said that it was not just focusing on the curriculum, because every board and every state has a different curriculum. It was the new approach to pedagogy. It was how to integrate SEL in the classroom. It spoke a lot about the health and the wellness of the child, which was very, very important, that you need to plan your lessons keeping in mind the emotional aspect of a child, keeping in mind the different kind of learners, and making it more and more inclusive. So the teachers really benefited in terms of how to improve, hone their pedagogies, their teaching learning styles, and how to actually change from being, like we say, just a kind of a sage on the stage, to becoming more and more approachable, becoming more and more involved in the learning of a child. There were a lot of tips given to the teachers on personalization of education, how they can curate their own teaching learning styles. So definitely I would really recommend that teachers and leaders enroll their entire, the teaching learning team, to enroll for this nishtha. So it's a beautiful program. It's been very well drafted, and it has also helped in children, in the teachers building their professional development. It's really helped in that. And the nishtha, of course, talks about all the teachers undergoing 50 hours of personalized continuous learning and professional development. It focused a lot on the way language needs to be used in a class. That was very, very important. So in fact, I would just like to share, my grade 10 teacher, who's actually teaching the board classes, she said that she really benefited at that level because of the kind of modules which were conducted. So when a grade 10 teacher, whose general focus in every school is, completion of the portion, training the children to prepare for the board exams, when she comes back with rave reviews, that means there's something really very, very impactful and very commendable being done in the nishtha modules. So
That's great. I think it's
definitely,
your leader. I think it's your leadership also that all your teachers are undergoing Nishita. Normally,
yes.
teachers are, restricted towards any kind of training, and something new. They get scared about it. Oh, हमें ये भी करना पड़ेगा क्या अब? So, but good. Nishita has been quite successful at your school.
Yes,
All
very
I think all
successful.
all credit to your leadership also. Right? Yeah. I'll come
Thank you,
back to
sir.
you, Preeti ma'am. As my next speaker, Azhar sir ke, I would like to take some views, thoughts, opinions on that, on NEP. Um, Please, sir, anything on Nishita, NEP? What is your school doing? How are you implementing it? Any learnings which I can take away from you and implement in my school as copy paste? I would love to listen out from you, please, sir. Ajay,
Got
sir.
that. So yeah, thank you for the thank you for the program. Thank you for inviting me. So let me speak on the teachers' requirement, teachers' perspective, parents' perspective, and students' perspective of NEP. Now, the NEP is demanding the whole shift in the education landscape of education. The demand is to up to the international standards. If and I'm running a school of IGCSE, it is demanding. I don't see any since in an IGCSE school, I don't see that there is a major changes when it comes to NEP. But there are certain things which has to be taken care. Now, if I look at it the teacher's perspective, like given the Indian context as a scenario, now there is a there need there need to be a fundamental shift from teacher's perspective. That is teacher shifting her attitude towards education and going beyond the books and the curriculum. That is
Sir,
one
you
which I
said
see.
sorry to interrupt you. You said you are running IGCSE and you don't see a major change in NEP coming to you. Uh, can you share something which is already there in IGCSE and NEP has used that? Any
Okay,
parallel
I will.
points, sir? Yeah,
Yeah, I will add that. I will add that. Okay.
please, sir. Yeah.
Now, given, let me complete what I was sharing. So, teachers, in terms of teachers' demand, it is a fundamental shift in their approach to learning, and the implementation requires a lot of training for that. Lot of training from that. That is something which, from the teacher's perspective, currently, which our education system is not providing that. Now, that is very critical. Number two, in terms of parents' perspective, the parents has to focus on the learning rather than marks and assessment. So this is something which is very critical from the parents' perspective. Focusing on one career, on one path, that is going to that is going to completely shift. In terms of in terms of student perspective, now the learning is going to be beyond classrooms. Learning is going to be very flexible. Assessment is going to be very flexible. and there is no the test level on the examination is going to get reduced. But still it is a question mark. NEP has not addressed that aspect of it, how the model of education is going to be, like assessment is going to be. That is still there is a question mark in NEP. So these are the three things I see as in terms of perspective of an education ecosystem as itself. Now, coming to the next part is as, for example, let me talk about the other NEP. Now, one is the pattern of the ecosystem itself. That is 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4. This itself is an it's a major shift when we take it from IGCSE. Number one. Number two, the assessment structure, that is 3, 5, 8, 10, 12. That is similar to IGCSE. Third, the vocational skills which is brought in an NEP, given an importance to that. That is something which is very commendable. Then the technology, the integration of technology in teaching and learning, that is something which is very commendable in NEP. The sixth point which I wanted to talk about is the research oriented teachers, or the expectation of a teacher training or teacher to teach according to NEP. It's raised. Right now, the current teachers cannot teach according to NEP without getting trained. It's for sure. So those are few critical things which has changed. So this is one which I see very well drafted in NEP. Now coming to the next challenges, if I see the challenge, what I see is, one is the academically. If you look at it, it is a very strong document. Comes to pedagogy implementation, it's a very strong document. And our education system, if it takes, then there will be a breakthrough in Indian education system. That is one thing. The number two is the resources required for the schools to implement. That will be a constraint. Why I'm saying this is, the huge amount of investment to be invested in training and implementing from traditional classroom to the learning taken to the student centric learning. That will be a challenge for the school managements, as well as the government, as long as, because in the budget, government has reduced the budget for education. But given this NEP demands resources and setup of infrastructure, a lot to be done when it comes to NEP and teachers training as well. That is something which is very critical, where current education system is not giving a product which is required to teach NEP. So that gap has to be built up. The fourth challenge which I am talking about is the assessment, that is what we call is the formative summative, as well as the assessment pattern. Still, that there is a question mark how it is going to be. It is going to be a board examination, or it is going to be a local, schools are going to give marks or grades. Though all those things, structure is like question mark. That still we are not very clear. And the teachers training part, that is now the overhauling system of B.Ed education has been highlighted there. But still, how far it is going to be implemented, and how far are the current graduates from B.Ed, or the system of B.Ed teachers, that on the court, on the practical scenario, it's going to be a very huge challenge, unless until instead of waiting, or instead of government to implement, we as educators should stand be responsible and start doing whatever we can do within our control. So that is something which I wanted to share in terms of NEP.
Ajay sir, really, Ajay sir, really very valid points which you have shared right here. Some were really bulleted points, extremely very well drafted, uh, uh, knowledgeable points, if I can say right here. Deepak sir, I would request you if you can continue what Ajay sir were highlighting, because you have a huge exposure to some good number of schools and childrens and teachers and parents right here. Um, uh, I would heartful thanks to Ajay sir, because the points which you have given in comparison to IGSE, I have not asked you about the question on the language policy, because you come from Tamil Nadu. This is the leading state right now. But Deepak sir, please continue. What other things which is happening in NEP, or which we can help us to implement NEP in our schools, please, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, the beauty of speaking in the end is that half your points are already been taken. So I'll just try to take something from each one of you to put it up.
Yeah.
See, when we talk about any, first of all, there's one thing which I want to start off with, that the only thing which is permanent is change. And as educators, as Poonam ma'am correctly said, that she's going to give 100% for the implementation of NEP. I think so. When I'm going through all the drafts, all the plannings, the suggestions of NEP, it's a wonderful thing which is going to happen to the education sector, because this policy covers almost all the aspects of education. When we talk about how the age groups had been divided, what kind of checkpoints to be given, what kind of resources which are going to be needed for teaching, when we talk about the content wise, the competency wise, as well as the digital point of that. Last 2 years, I think there has been a huge shift on the way how we see education already. Last 2 years, the people, when we were talking about digitalization of the education before the pandemic, it looked as if it is like something which we are talking about, which is an impossible task, but that happened. Correct. And that happened in a record time. I think within 10 to 15 days, a maximum month, the whole country was digitalized. So when we see NEP, the implementation is possible. You started off something saying on the point CC that it should not be a next CC. How I see NEP, I don't think so. It has everything. It's a mixed bag, according to me, which has everything for everyone. Now, one of the biggest challenges, yes, which is going to come is that how we are going to train the teachers, because making something on a paper and implementing, of course, there's going to be a lot of challenges in that. But one thing which is going to be very important is how the idea has been conceived by the school owners, principals, and teachers for the implementation of NEP. And I think government has thought about it by the scheme of Nishtha, which Preeti ma'am discussed on. So if and that is a very ambitious plan, by the way, because that we are talking about somewhere around what 4.2 million teachers to be trained in the shortest span of time. What Azhar sir has been mentioning about the implementation of NEP in the schools, yes. If we talk about Rajasthan, from where I come from, NEP yet to be implemented in the private schools. In the Rajasthan board schools, they have already started off with the 5th boards and the 8th boards, which is on the line with the NEP. When we see our schools, which we are running, we are focusing a lot on teachers training, because these are the challenges of tier 2 and tier 3, as been mentioned by Sandeepan Reddy sir, that being a small town schools, these are the challenges. But these challenges, sir, I can assure you, can be overcome if we are constantly speaking to our teachers, and we are constantly updating them about what is happening. As I mentioned just now about how the digitalization happened. Now, digitalization over here, we were able to implement it in less than 10 days. There was a lot of talking which was required. So when this can be done, I think NEP has a lot of things for all of us, and we should be really positive about when we are talking about NEP, and we should be very open about, because this can actually change the whole education system, and Indian students can be on the global platform. We don't need to get into the same old mode of rote learning, because when we're talking about skill development, when we're talking about hands-on experience, when we're talking about experiential learning, it has everything. So I
Can you
hope I
share?
was clear to what you
Yeah.
were expecting from me. Yeah.
Yeah, can you share something on this Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan mission or vision, which they are trying to? Is it possible to
I can touch.
implement that?
Yes, I can touch on that. As it itself, it needs. I think it needs a session. Some of the section. So Samagra
Please.
Shiksha itself, the name itself suggests that it is a holistic way of education, and it comprises right from the preschool to the 12th standard. It covers all the classes. The three main categories which Samagra Shiksha imbibes are Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, and let me just get it. One was some. Can this is skipping up the three parts. One is some Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
There's
basically
one
it covers
Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha,
Rashtriya
That's
Madhyamik Shiksha.
and
Yeah,
then teacher
excellent.
education.
teachers
Sorry.
education. So yeah, so
one more
if
one more
we talk
example.
about some of this, it covers everything. It covers right
Yeah.
to education. It covers about teachers training. It is talking about uh, पढ़ेगा भारत तो बढ़ेगा भारत. It talks about खेलेगा भारत खेलेगा इंडिया तो खेलेगा इंडिया. So it talks about everything. समग्र शिक्षा, and uh, it also talks about strengthening SCRTs and DITs. It talks about digitalization of education. It talks about, when we talk about teachers training, in that it talks about good teacher training, in-service teacher training, and pre-service teacher training. So Samagra Shiksha is a very innovative scheme of the government for strengthening the whole education system in the school setup.
That's excellent. That's really very nice. You have summarized it with the help of Preeti ma'am. Last
Of
few
course,
words
Preeti
on
ma'am.
Nipun. Yeah.
I'll just
So
add one more thing. Preeti ma'am
yeah.
has been my teacher once.
Wow.
Thank you so
Oh.
much for that. Yes. So,
So
just on a
still,
personal note, I
yeah.
was from
Please.
Udaipur, where
Yeah.
Deepak, now he's, of course, really become a very successful educationist, and he's uh, got a number of schools. He's setting up schools and very progressive, very futuristic. So, pleasure to have him on the same platform.
Thank you, ma'am.
So that's the beauty of being in this field of
So a
education.
my teacher helped me again
Success
once.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's great. Before I end this up, I'm requesting please for final comments on Nipun Bharat. If anybody would like to pitch in, this is an open platform because I've touched everybody. Nipun Bharat initiative. Uh,
If you want, I can speak as I was ending it
please,
up. If you
please,
want,
sir.
yeah. So
Yes.
Nipun Bharat, again, a very wonderful scheme by as a part of NEP, which
Yeah.
focuses on the foundational learning of the children, which is from pre-nursery to third standard, which is basically up to pre-nursery to third standard. As per the research is made, that why up to third standard, there was a lot of conversation which I have attended in the previous webinars also, that why up to third standard this has to be done. So because it's been said that till third standard, if we talk about, these are the foundational years where a child is like they learn to read and then they read to learn. So now this becomes the most important introductory years for any child. So the whole idea of Nipun Bharat is that the foundation of the children, so that the age group in which they are, they should be able to read and understand the material appropriate to their age. And for that, this scheme has been launched. And again, there's going to be Nishtha, which is going to play a very crucial part for Nippon, because there's a lot of training which is needed for the teachers. And then they have put up the assessments also to basically see whether they're achieving the targets or not. Because there was a report by this World Bank Learning Poverty Index, which said that 55% of the Indian students, they were not able to read and write the appropriate content as per their age. So the basic idea to get this scheme into place is that to overcome that part. And there was, I was going through one more research. I don't have the exact source for that, but during this pandemic time, this 55% has increased further. So that's what Nipun is all about for the foundation years.
Yes, but these would be applicable for schools which are in rural areas. Probably might not be, because those studies which were done were still, uh, the target audience group might not be so much scattered. for those groups. So they might show a deviation. So 50% of the students not able to read or study might come from a particular area, might not come from a city like Mumbai or a Bangalore when we do a similar study on that thing. So Nipun Bharat is one of the initiatives which might get applicable for, because Sandipan sir is his presence is there in rural areas of India also. So probably there's a lot of thing. Thank you all of you. If there's anything which I have missed, please do highlight. I apologize if you have
I would like
cut you
to.
in between. Please, please. Other sir, yes. I think you want to jump
Yeah,
in, or Sandipan?
yeah. You
Yeah.
you you had a question on the language issue in Tamil Nadu, right? Yeah.
Yes, you're the
Fundamentally,
lead.
yeah.
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 Fundamentally, if you look at it, any idea, any policy, there will be a challenges because
Yeah.
India has 27 languages and 27 diverse culture. For example, Deepak Sharma is from Rajasthan, and Poonam ma'am is from Bombay. So there is going to be a difference of culture, difference of languages, and any policy that matter that is going to come. But as
Yes.
education is what I see is, like, for example, irrespective of what NEP says, I have four languages compulsory: English, Tamil, Arabic, Hindi. Number one. See, this is
Right.
what is required for the children for the future, whether the
Java
government says or
also.
not. That is how we, yeah,
Coding is there in NEP.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is
So
that is
five.
what I'm saying.
Digital
So
literacy
what is
has a big, yeah, digital literacy has a prominent place in the new NEP.
MEP?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think
as
there's
That
a
is
bit
I
of
required for making our students ready for the future. Definitely.
yeah.
Yes. Yes, Poonam.
So
Definitely.
that is the intention of NEP, and as a policy, they will take care of it. They will have to bring those ideas, and that
Yes.
is what the government will do. Unlike other countries, for example, if you look at UK, Finland, or any other countries, they are all one country, no, not like 28 states they have. So they write policy for only one country, and it is followed across these states. So that differences will be there, and we as educators, we our purpose is like what is future for the child, that we have to take a decision and go ahead, and that will be very locally. We have to take it as very locally.
Yes.
Yeah, Hindi, as in that's a political view of it. On a holistic view, what is required, we need to take it on. That's what I
Agreed.
wanted to say.
yeah.
NCRT as well as SCRT,
They have
both
to
have
work
Yeah,
in sync.
been taken
so
into
that's all it
account
is.
so that the local flavor is also added, and at the
Yeah,
same time the national curriculum framework is there.
I agree with Poonamji. That's why I started with state NEP and national NEP. There are two NEPs. So I knew this thing. So ultimately it will happen like that only. The idea was
yeah.
NEP, but somewhere it is now getting into state NEP and this thing. So okay, our times are up. I think Ashutosh ji is waiting. After a long time, I am seeing 5 blade fan. Thank you. Ashutosh ji, over to you. If you want to pitch
Thank
in
you,
or
sir. And I really thanks to all the panelists to join us. And it was very a wonderful session, a knowledgeful session on NEP. So, and well
Thanks, sir.
moderated by you, Kuldeep, sir.
oh, I
So
have
now
great
it's
people.
time for, thank you, sir. Now it's time for a speaker felicitation. So, Rajswar, can we have award certificate, felicitation certificate to all the speakers here? So first of all, this is for Kuldeep Srolia, sir, founder, Surford International School.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming, sir.
Thank you, Elets.
This is for Poonam Arora, ma'am, Principal, Bombay Cambridge International School, Mumbai, Maharashtra. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
coming
sir.
and joining us, ma'am.
Thank you.
And this is for Deepak Sarma, sir, Director, Rockwood School and Central Public School, Udaipur. Thanks for joining us, sir. And this is for Muhammad Ajhar, sir, Founder, Principal, Knowledge Academy School, Chennai. Thanks for joining us, sir. And this is last certificate for Sandeepan Reddy, sir,
Thank you.
Founder, Chairman, Synergy National School, Amboj Gai. Thanks for coming, sir.
Thank you.